Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we get to check in with Quincy Chamber of Commerce President Tim Cahill, get an update on their 2023 season. First, though, we check out the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, we've got a mix of sun and clouds, 34 degrees right now, but a frigid blast of Arctic air is on the way. Temperatures will be falling throughout the day. The wind will be picking up. It's going to get down to the maybe single digits tonight with wind chills below zero, and it really is not going to warm up much tomorrow. We'll have a lot of clouds around. The wind will be fierce. It'll be about 24 degrees. Again, wind chills tomorrow, single digits, maybe negative numbers. Another cold night tomorrow night. Some moderation here on Sunday. Chance for some snow showers, but high Sunday in the low 40s. And then watching a potentially larger winter storm for early next week. Could be moving in Monday night, Tuesday or Tuesday night. Right now, the forecasts are not clear on that, but Monday should be quiet with highs into the mid-30s. After that, could see some snowy weather here as March approaches next Wednesday. Again, right now, sun and clouds, 34 degrees here in Quincy. Checking news for you today, Quincy Councilor at Large Ann Mahoney calling for some more transparency in the way the city has spent the $46 million that it received in American Rescue Plan pandemic relief funds from the federal government. In a resolution Mahoney sponsored recently, she's calling on the administration to clarify the recent purchase of a building on McGrath Highway, which Mayor Thomas Koch says was bought with those funds. But Mahoney says city records indicate otherwise.
My point of this is that it may be small money that's happening. Transparency is not happening with the ARPA money. In other communities, they are sharing how they're spending it. You can go online, you can see how they're spending it. We don't have transparency in anything we're spending. The CPA monies as well. I mean, if you go to Boston or you go to Cambridge, Somerville, pretty much any town around, you can go online and see how the money of the CPAs are being spent.
The community preservation account.
And you can see where their money's being spent, where it's being allocated, and they'll show you plans as to what is how that money's being spent. So I guess I keep coming back to this, it's transparency, because if I have to hunt this hard to find out things, I put this resolve together because this administration has gone out and said that they were using ARPA money. It was district improvement financing money, which is meant for the downtown. There was no place that building was identified, although that building does reside in the footprint of what the URDP is. However, district improvement financing was not to purchase a building for Alcoholics Anonymous, and now that's a key too.
Mayor Thomas Koch says the building was initially purchased with money from the District Improvement Financing Fund, but will be reimbursed with pandemic relief funds that are coming from Norfolk County. The city purchased the building for $1.8 million last December. Mayor says it will be used for substance use recovery group meetings. Another bargaining session is scheduled next week between the Quincy Teachers Union and the city. The two sides failed to reach a contract agreement during two meetings last week. Mayor Thomas Koch insists that the Massachusetts Teachers Association is influencing the negotiations.
I've been at this for a while now. In my 16th year, I've been involved in a number of contracts, and I've observed the statewide stuff that's going on with the MTA. It's the playbook. It's happened in each of the other communities. It's too bad. I think it's too bad because I don't have much respect for the MTA anyway. They're a very political organization, a very woke organization, and I don't think they help with what's going on in the classroom. I mean, when you have workshops at your events, a workshop on how to strike in a community, what does that tell you? Strikes are illegal in Massachusetts, but they teach how to strike. So I just... I hope we can get there. I love my teachers. They do a good job, and it's not easy in these times with the lack of support at home with a lot of our young people. So it's a little more challenging today. So I certainly hope we can get there, and I thank my teachers for all they do. But I'm not a fan of the MTA.
Quincy Education Association President Gail Carvalho says the Quincy teachers are negotiating in the best interests of the students, the teachers, and the teachers' families, and that there is no outside influence. The last Quincy teachers contract expired at the end of August. A landmark on Wollaston Beach in Quincy will be expanding their outdoor entertainment this year. Tony's Wollaston Clam Shop has received permission to offer some live music to their patrons. City Clerk Nicole Crispo says there will be a variety of offerings.
Karen Jerf was there, who is an owner in Tony's Clam Shop, and talked about how they extended their patio when COVID came, and last year they did some one-day licenses, and they seemed to, their patrons enjoyed it, the neighbors enjoyed it. So they're really excited about doing that this year as well. The times will vary from when sunset happens and things like that. And it's sometimes acoustic, sometimes they have a violinist, sometimes they have a one man just with a guitar and singing, things like that.
Licensing board approved of that outdoor music in a unanimous vote last week. Tony's will be opening for the season in March. Well, the mild winter is giving Quincy DPW crews a head start on some spring projects. City Council President Noel DeBona says the Quincy DPW Commissioner Al Grazioso is taking full advantage of the snowless weather so far.
Also, I was talking to DPW Commissioner Grazioso, and they said they were doing some work the other day, out in the city, which they never do during the winter. So, and they're getting their bids in and getting ready to go here right into spring. Start getting roads and sidewalks done. So, the weather gets better. We can start a little earlier and get some work done across the city. Sometimes we do it in-house. So if you see some of the workers out there, we can get some sidewalks done, get some curbing done because the weather is a little bit more warmer. It's not as frozen as it usually is. So we're going to get a head start on using that. We appropriate $100 million into roads and sidewalks and infrastructure and water mains and sewer. So we're looking forward to getting that stuff in order and working because it's very important for the infrastructure underneath, but also the roads and sidewalks moving forward. So hopefully we can get a head start on that, Joe. So,
in addition to DPW work, National Grid also continues to make progress on their North Quincy cable replacement project. Well, the Quincy College men's hockey and basketball teams are headed for the playoffs. The Granite men's hockey team has earned the 4th seed in the New England Independent Hockey Conference playoffs. The team won 5 of their final 6 regular season games. They'll take on Anna Maria College tomorrow night at 8:15 at the Babson Ice Arena out in Wellesley. And Granite men's basketball wrapped up its regular season this past Tuesday with their 20th win of the season. They beat Bristol Community College. Now the team opens up the National Junior College Athletic Association's Region 21 tournament with an opening round game against Quinsigamond Community College. That'll be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right at Eastern Nazarene College here in Quincy. You'll be able to watch that game live on QATV RHD channel 1072 tomorrow night. Well, hundreds of people enjoyed the spring-like weather during the annual Winterfest President's Day celebration in Quincy Center this past Monday. From fire to ice, this year's event featured Sasha the Fire Gypsy, also ice sculpture demonstrations offered by Craig, a Birds of Prey show from the Trailside Museum in Milton, a performance by the Quincy and North Quincy High School John Adams Orchestra, some patriotic laser light shows. There was live music from a Steely Dan tribute band, costume characters, a Snow Queen stilt walker, and plenty of refreshments that were offered too, and historic tours of the presidential crypts at the United First Parish Church and Old City Hall were all part of the celebration. Along with the featured performance, it was Brendan Ryan of NBC's The Voice. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we sit down with Quincy Chamber of Commerce President Tim Cahill next. Welcome back. Time to check in with Quincy Chamber of Commerce President Tim Cahill for an update on what's coming up in 2023. Why don't we recap, Tim, what happened in 2022 first?
Do we have enough time?
No, but maybe the winter market.
Well, the winter market, yeah. That's probably the last time I came was before the winter market,
right. So
it was a fabulous event. Two great weekends.
Good.
The weather cooperated.
It really
much.
did, yeah.
We added, pretty much a full-scale restaurant with beer garden and food and mixed drinks, and we had a lot of bakeries and full house in terms of the vendors.
Okay.
Very, very happy, and it was I mean, it was a question of how busy and how much busier it got. It was never really a dull moment. It's really become a sort of a focal point for people. The vendors loved it in terms of they were happy. We heated the tent this year, which was a big step.
Yeah.
Whether, like I said, we had outdoor heaters as well. We sold Christmas trees this year. Boy Scout Pack 42 sold Christmas trees and raised to make money for a trip that they may already be on in Iceland. They're heading to Iceland this year.
Wow.
So that was part of the fundraising, which was great. It was a great addition. It's a Christmas market, a holiday market, and we're selling Christmas trees. So for people who wanted the convenience of it. So all in all, it's best event we've ever had in terms of the holidays.
Was this the third or this was the third one, I think, right?
Third, yeah. We skipped 1 year.
Right.
We skipped 1 year.
Pandemic,
So third one. Second year at Kilroy Square, which has really just blossomed into a beautiful spot. Both during we're getting ready for the farmers market now.
Yes.
Second year, the third year of the farmers market there, and it's just turned into a fabulous spot.
Yeah.
Really, really good spot where people now are accustomed to coming and know about it. We're not directing people there anymore.
I know signage was a big issue when you first opened, right? People are just like, where do we find this?
You can now Google Kilroy Square, and the address and the location will pop up.
Okay.
So
I mean, once Google has it, you're set.
Well, yeah, we gave it to them. But they have it. Okay. So it's just great. It really, really was very festive. People really seemed to enjoy the atmosphere as well as the opportunities. It was good for small businesses, good for people who want to shop in Quincy, good for people looking for something different, because we can all get the same thing on Amazon, the same thing at Macy's, and the mall. It's different. It's really different, and it not only attracts people who live here, but it brings people.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is it folks from like west of Chestnut and Chestnut Place? Are they coming down from their apartments right
everywhere?
There?
They're from everywhere. And it's people who haven't been back to Quincy Center in a while.
Yeah.
Or maybe have been back to eat in a restaurant but haven't been back to shop. Okay. So we provided everything. It was a great full family event, much like the winter festival that the city just put on.
Yeah.
It was really nice. We didn't get 65-degree weather.
That was incredible.
But it was winter. It was great. Like I said, we had outdoor heaters. We had the indoor tent heated. We had the gallery open. So there was plenty of places to go. We were prepared for everything, and it just worked out great. So
speaking of the gallery, that is really getting activated, isn't it? That's really starting to come to life. I know there's a restaurant that's coming in there.
There's a restaurant coming in sometime this year. Yeah. And we'll be restarting the beer garden in May.
Okay.
Met with the folks yesterday. The beer garden will go hand in hand with the farmers market, but also open probably on Thursdays and Sundays, Saturdays as well, and maybe incorporate some events in. We're looking to we had a really fun, Oktoberfest this year for the first time. Yeah. And so we're going to try to incorporate some events, maybe one a month, throughout the summer and the spring, maybe a summer solstice event. And we'll talk to the Pride, Quincy Pride, to see if they want to incorporate. They're looking to do it at Kilroy this year, and maybe we'll incorporate it on a Saturday with the beer garden set up.
Oh, really? Okay.
So things like that, you know, maybe some food trucks in there. We had a food truck last year. We'll look to do some variety. So all in all, it was a great way to end the year. Took us a couple of weeks to recover from it, physically and mentally. Right. And now we're on to the annual meeting, which is our big sort of chamber-centric event for the bricks and mortar businesses mostly. Yeah,
okay. It's Tuesday, March 28th, 4:30 to 8:30, again at Granite Links?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Granite Links, which is our go-to spot since I've been here. It is the fifth one. Again, we lost 1 year, I believe. Yes, so it's our fifth one since I've been here. This is my 6th year. This is our 5th one.
Okay.
And our goal this year is to bring it back to what it was prior to COVID.
Okay.
We've had 2 since COVID. Yep. One outdoors in a tent, which was rather small, and one last year, which we didn't push really hard because people were still a little uncomfortable about being inside, and the businesses weren't all gun-ho about presenting and setting up booths and stuff.
Yes.
But this year it's back to pre-COVID.
No holds barred.
We're getting a great response. Yeah. So people are really excited about it. And we'll probably max out with booths this year, maybe up to 50 or maybe even more.
Wow.
We've got 2 Hall of Fame inductees to put in this year, so that'll be 5. Started with Duncan in 2019, Granite City Electric in 2021, and then last year it was Quincy Mutual Insurance, right across the street, and Cashman Company.
Oh, okay.
Down at the shipyard. This year it will be Granite Telecommunications. So Rob Hale's extremely successful telecommunications business, worldwide successful.
Yeah.
But founded here in Quincy in 2002, so they celebrated their 20th year last year, which qualified them for being in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Is that what it takes?
It's a minimum, you know,
Okay.
at least being in business 20 years.
Okay.
Well, we do, and then there'll be, the second company will be JP Fuji Group.
Oh, it's
Jimmy
been 20
Liang's
years for them?
25.
25?
25.
Wow.
So they've 25, and they've really recovered from COVID. They obviously had a pause during COVID, but they're on fire now.
Yeah.
They were on fire before and growing. It's the largest Pan-Asian business in the metropolitan Boston area.
That's amazing.
Over 400 employees. They have a construction company. They build their own restaurants. So not only do they operate the restaurants, but they actually build them too. So
Talk about full service.
yeah,
I think
Jimmy, I mean,
Jimmy
it's-
was like 10 when he started.
he was
probably.
19. He was literally 19. So
19, yeah.
everyone says he's really young to be in the Hall of Fame, and he is because he started when he was 19. But he's
Okay.
been in business for 25 years.
Wow.
And they're everywhere now. They're in Somerville, they're in Cambridge, they're in Boston, they're expanding to Newton.
Really?
They're going to go even farther than they are today, but
Mm-hmm.
they've really established themselves. And he's a homegrown guy.
Yeah.
Graduated from North Quincy
Yeah,
High School, him and his
yeah.
partner Peter, and we're excited about both because Rob Hale didn't grow up in Quincy, but we've certainly adopted him, and he's founded 2 big companies here in Quincy, and has really stuck to it and found huge success, and also given back tremendous amounts to the community.
Yes.
I mean, they are a worldwide company, have locations all over
Oh, I know.
America,
Yeah.
employ almost 3,000 people. I mean, people talk about Rob's personal wealth, but the company is phenomenal, and that's what we look for, is what people do for others in their company. And I don't just mean charitable, but putting people to work, giving people opportunity. Jimmy, in his case, has employed, hundreds of immigrants in the city.
Yeah.
And probably our first...
That's a great success story.
Yeah, it's probably our
that's an
first
American
Hall of
success
Fame
story. Yeah.
member who was born outside of America. came here.
Interesting.
So it's exciting, and today we're announcing it officially. We haven't announced it yet.
Oh, so we're getting the scoop.
QATV gets the scoop.
Great.
And we'll be promoting it and letting people know. And I'm really, I mean, you couldn't have 2 better representatives of the entrepreneurial class than Rob Hale and Jimmy Liang.
Yeah.
And to be on the same stage, I think will be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it because I followed Jimmy's career and I follow Rob's career, and they're just they are sort of the gold standard of how you build how you create a business, how you build it, and how you keep going. Rob faced challenges back in the
He
early
talked about his bankruptcy dealings, when he
the
first
early
started
part of the
out.
century.
Yeah.
He was down and he got right back up.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, and I talked to Jimmy constantly about this during COVID, was just the business was crushed.
Yes.
I mean, they shut it all down.
Yes.
He was in,
but he continued to pay his workers.
He
as I
continued to pay his
recall.
workers.
Yeah.
He built a really big takeout business,
Yeah.
and now is back. And now he has put the expansion that he put on hold is now growing.
Okay.
So I see both of them just continuing to light the way for
Yeah,
people, and
I
that's
think-
what we've been fortunate. I like to say, and I'll say it here too. We're the city of presidents, but we're also the city of entrepreneurs. I mean, you have the Grossman Company, Howard Johnson.
Sure.
You have the Granite City Electric. They're celebrating their 100th anniversary
That's
today.
incredible. Wow.
At the same time, they're the fastest growing mid-market company in the state of Massachusetts, and the largest woman-owned business in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
So it's not just about what they've done, but what they continue to do.
Yes.
Jay Cashman continues to grow at the shipyard and grow his business line, and Mass Mutual. Quincy Mutual is continuing to expand both its insurance company, but also its real estate portfolio. So it's really a full-scale commitment to what is going on in the city. I mean, we just renovated the original Dunkin' Donuts. They just renovated the original
Yes,
Dunkin' Donuts,
yeah.
the owners, the Carvellos, and another franchise on Franklin Street's building a brand new, replacing their old store and building a brand new one.
Right.
So they, that's the goal of, and sort of the mission of the Hall of Fame, is to, encourage, recognize people, businesses, and people who have done it, but also look at that they're not done doing it,
Yeah.
and maybe the next generation is taking over.
And interestingly, all the companies that you've talked about really have not forgot their Quincy roots.
None of them.
Sometimes when a company gets that big, they relocate to a larger metropolitan
We've seen that.
area.
We've
Yeah,
seen that. We
yeah.
lose the CEOs. We lose the headquarters. These companies are headquartered here, and you're right. That's exactly right. And they're all if not still in Quincy, certainly based locally. And it's a very fun process because there are so many businesses that will someday be in this, and it's almost like I wish we could almost do them all at once or do more to catch up. So
is there an actual Hall of Fame, Tim? Do you have like a
we have a plaque, we have a plaque.
Okay.
Well, my office is, the boardroom up at on the 10th floor,
Yep.
the 9th floor of the Granite Trust is kind of like a shrine.
Okay.
Kind of like a shrine.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we'll give them a plaque and they'll take it back, and hopefully it'll inspire their employees, their business, and somebody else who's
Hey, I
gonna
work
do
for
it.
a Hall of Fame company now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal to me. I hope it's a big deal to them, but it really does inspire the rest of our businesses, and that's part of the goal here, is to inspire those businesses to put in the extra effort, and when you get knocked down, get right back up. Rob Hale didn't even want to get out of bed after that first company
He
went down.
talked about this publicly, yeah.
And he did. He got back out. Not only did he get back out of bed, he started all over again, and then built it better and learned from his mistakes. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
If you're going to succeed, you can't avoid that problem in some way, shape, or form, and you've got to overcome it.
So now he has Fox Rock Properties in addition, developing a lot of Quincy Center right now.
Yeah, putting his money back in. So, so we're really excited about that. We're also we're giving out 2 awards this year, not just one. We've had it'll be the 5th Bruce Wood Award grant to a company that not only is centered here in Quincy, but also known for giving back to the community as well, usually a smaller business or an up-and-coming. And so we'll be doing that. That process will be open, the application will be open until next week.
Oh, that hasn't been selected yet.
No, we haven't selected, and we're still keeping it open for a couple more days. We've extended it for a week.
Okay.
And this year will be the first annual Phyllis Godwin Woman in Business Award.
Speaking of Granite City Electric,
Well, Phyllis is so proud of what she's been able to do, what her company's been able to do, and what the city's done for her. She has donated us the money, endowed us a fund to award, to create this award. It comes with a $7,500 gift to whoever's chosen to do whatever with it what they want.
Oh.
Obviously specified for a woman-owned business that's part of the Quincy Chamber of Commerce. So we just closed down the application process yesterday. We had 22 applicants. So Phyllis will be deciding.
She decides, okay.
She will be deciding who, in her family, who she feels is the most, should be awarded the award that she feels very, obviously it's very personal for her because she took over her father's business when there were very few women in business very few women in the electrical.
It's very hard for her, in
the electrical business too. So it's not just what you're doing; it's how you're overcoming the challenges. If are you taking on a male male business area and trying to find your way in, and what are the challenges?
I'll be curious to see
there.
who she selects. Okay.
So those are all going to be all 4 of those awards will be given out that night. So it's a combination of Business Expo. The first hour and a half,
like a networking event, right? Yep.
Is about checking out the current businesses in Quincy, and then the second half of the program is about giving out the awards. But it's less talk, more networking. I was
going to ask if there's a guest speaker.
We used to have a guest speaker, but since we've started the Hall of Fame, we let the awardees speak.
Okay, all right.
And it really it worked with Duncan. It was we had a guest speaker lined up in 2020. What was COVID? 2020? 2020.
Yeah. The year that wasn't, right?
Yeah, we had a guest speaker. And then the following year when we awarded Granite City Electric and Phyllis was a speaker, she did such a great job speaking and talking about what it was like and inspired so many people. I said, let's just let the awardees, whoever gets the Hall of Fame, get to speak.
Okay.
So they'll be allowed to speak and say what they want, and I'm sure they'll be inspirational.
All right, so it'll be Rob Hale and Jimmy Lang. Speaking at least,
yeah.
Okay.
And it will be. But again, the idea is to inspire, to network, and to get ready for the current year. And I think all 4 of the awards will inspire people to double back their efforts. And it's great for us because we get to give back something for the business who are always giving us stuff.
Right. Yes.
2 awards, over $10,000 in cash.
For a small business, that's a big gift, yeah.
And it's a nice feeling. And Bruce Wood Award is funded by the folks that knew Bruce, founders of the chamber, the Bob Currys, the Ed Cohanes, the Sean Galvins, the folks who were there, Frank Trainer, with him to create what we're doing right now in Quincy. And I don't think our chamber's ever been stronger or more vibrant or doing more, even with even after hitting the COVID speed bump.
Yeah. Again, it's Tuesday, March 28th, 4:30 to 8:30 at Grand Ole. Is this open to the public too?
It's open to the public. Okay. Tickets are available. You have to buy a ticket, register in advance. You can buy a table. You can, take a table if you want to bring people from your company. There are still opportunities to rent showcase booths, tables to promote. So if a business wants to come, we're still open for that. We haven't hit our maximum yet. And then there obviously 1s, 2s, 3s, any people that want to come in. And we're hoping for a big crowd because we have a lot of people to honor, and I think it's a great opportunity for people in the business community, either in Quincy or outside of Quincy, to come and get a sense of what the chamber's about, what the city's about, both the history as well as the future.
Yeah.
And we're going to encapsulate it all.
All right.
The women-owned businesses, which have really skyrocketed since COVID. It's really been a tremendous bump of women starting their own businesses after getting maybe sidelined or getting set out or leaving the work field and coming back in. And we've got a good group of them, and it continues to grow.
We're going to remember the ladies in March here in Quincy, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank you for having me, and I'll come back and give you the rundown when the spring weather arrives.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Speaking of, no spring weather in the near future, at least the rest of the day today. Falling temperatures, increasing wind, a bitter blast of Arctic air is on the way. It'll stick around tomorrow, moderate a bit on Sunday, and then we're watching the chance for a winter storm early next week. Thanks again to Tim Cahill for joining us from the Quincy Chamber. Thank you to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday here in the show, it's Jim Marathis from the Quincy Housing Authority. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. You'll find our latest programs there. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.